So I'll go back to where I started from. So working on retail, like at the ground level, and then developing online stores, and then working for a reseller, working with manufacturers, and working with the distribution channel. So that's why I'm here now. Gisela recruited me to come into Randmar to help with the community and those connections. Me connecting with you, and then helping you connect with I'll connect with the manufacturers on your behalf. So. Is anybody, before I start with Amazon, does everybody know what Amazon is?
No, what is it?
No, exactly. So when you go shopping for a product, where do you go to? Like, do you look at Google? Do you look at, or do you actually go to Amazon? What tool do you use? Both? Okay. So Amazon's trying to make it so that they are their own Google, and they're trying to bring you into their ecosystem so you don't go anywhere else. What Ghislain is creating is something that gives you guys an identity, and you are your own owner of your own store, and that is crucially important because Amazon kind of wants to remove your identity and keep it for themselves. They are the baseball diamond, they're the players, they're the umpires, they're everything. What Ghislain is creating and what Randmar is creating is something where you manage it, and Randmar is in the background helping you develop, and it keeps your identity. So it's crucially important to develop a strategy, your own store strategy, and yourself and your own identity on the marketplace. Shopify is that. So you own your own name, you own your own store. When you decide that you want to go to a third-party marketplace selling thing, make sure that you keep your identity. So and what I mean by that is when you go to set up a store on Amazon, it's going to ask you, you need to provide all the stuff that Shopify asked for, which is your identity and your business number, your tax number, and all that stuff. But they're going to ask you, what do you want to supply as your business name? And that's, once you've given that business name, you can't go back. So you want to make sure that you represent yourself and your own business name and not a alter ego. And I like Vinny, you've been there before. How do you represent yourself on Amazon? Same name, exactly. Why?
Because if the customer goes to Amazon, they're gonna see my name. If they want to search my store, they go and search my store. It's the same.
Exactly. So he's at a different level. So there's a couple ways you can do it. One is you become an authorized seller of brands. Randmar has those brands, or you can be a brand owner, which Vinny is. He's the brand owner, so he's representing it at a different level. So there's the reseller getting authorized, and then there's the brand owner. So I hope everyone understands what that is. So there's two different ways you're doing that. Like Vinny, just explain what you've developed on your.
Okay, my work.
Yes, on Amazon though, like how you develop your store, and the brand that you developed, because we're at a different level. We're trying to promote a different level.
Yeah, for the company I work for, it's basically we sell the same kind of products on Amazon and on Shopify. But we try to get the same feeling that we put on the website. Like the brand image needs to be the same. So we use all the copy stuff, all the material, marketing stuff. We use the same on the website and the Amazon as well. Of course, Amazon is more restricted. You need to follow Amazon rules. It's very hard. But we try to give the customer the same idea of the product.
Exactly. So when it comes to selecting products on Amazon, if you've developed those on Shopify first, you actually know what sells. Randmar has those brands. So I would start with 2 or 3 products, become comfortable with them. You can do a search on Amazon from the front end, Amazon.ca, and you can see the run rate of those products. So you've got to select your products, select the theme that you want. You've developed that on Shopify already, and like I said, start with a couple of products and see what could potentially sell, and that's how you develop the strategy from there. Any questions with how you're going to select the products, and where to go with that?
Yeah. What's the most important metric you look at for a product to sell on Amazon?
Run rate 30 days.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that. Do things like this. Look at it two ways. If you've created a shopper account, like a Seller Central account, you can go into the back end and look at the actual true metrics of a product when you're trying to put it online, or go in from the front end as a seller. So look at the product, and it'll say, and everyone has this information, how many units sold in 30 days, and you can actually see the ranking for category. So it can be like, let's use a really simple popular toner, a Brother TN760, and that used to be #1 out there, and now it's probably a no-name mustache brand from another seller out there who's taken that ranking from a manufacturer. So that's a good way to.
You want the highest rank.
You do. So, I mean, and how you're going to select that? So you've built your Shopify store. You've decided that you want to sell Bubba, and you want to sell some bottles. You can look at like there's a new seller on there right now that I saw, and they sold 90 or 89 Bubba bottles last week with only just starting, but they selected the right product. So they looked at what Bubba's top 20% list was in selling, and they figured that out just from searching online. And then so they took those products, looked at Randmar's inventory, and said, okay, let's look at these. Oh, there's an Amazon's choice. I'm going to select that one and just go with that one, pick one, and develop the strategy from there. But again, like Amazon is one thing, it's one ecosystem. It's still super important to have yourself represented and keep yourself in the Shopify side of things. You can get lost in the Amazon side of the world and forget about your own store. I mean, it's trying to consume all your time.
Do you recommend having links to your store on Amazon?
I would develop your home story. Josiah was strong on this at the beginning, saying, this is what identifies you and says who you are and what you do. Make sure that you have a starting point. So you build your homepage on Amazon, and you make sure that you promote you and nobody else. Don't promote necessarily brand. Promote you. Tell your story. Have your logo. Here's something that's crucially important. Randmar's Canadian. They're built and housed in Canada. You're Canadian. Put a Canadian flag beside your logo that you've put on Shopify, the logo that you've developed. So make sure that you say that you're proudly Canadian. That resonates huge right now on Amazon, because there actually is a Canadian side of it. That's a strong story, like incredibly strong story. So make sure you've got that. All your policies and all that stuff you've already developed on Shopify, you can go and copy and paste. So homepage, story, tell about yourself, then start developing your products. So you've got a beginning, and then you've got a path. Yeah. Okay. You're welcome. Yeah.
Strategy is really good right now, and like all the tariffs from China.
Well, that's.
So I would like do this for everyone here.
Yeah. That's the other thing, because you think you were asking about like shipping to the United States and stuff like that. Like keep it in, like I would say keep it in Canada though, because then you don't have to worry about that. You can expand yourself and say, yes, I want to ship globally, but you don't know what's going to happen past the shipping. And will Randmar take a package and ship it to the United States? That's a whole other conversation. Keep it in Canada for right now and tell your story. Build a brand. Build a brand. And then there's a couple of ways of I'll go into shipping. You've got two ways you can connect with a customer, and one is like holding the inventory at Randmar and doing fulfilled by yourself. So it's called FBM, fulfilled by merchant yourself, or you can go FBA. If you fulfill by merchant, you have a connection with the customer. You know who they are. So you're your own store. If you go fulfilled by FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, you lose that connection. You don't know who that customer is anymore. I know, Vinny, you're talking about shipping some stuff to Amazon. The only thing I don't like about that is you lose that connection, because there are some things that you can develop down the road, and you can develop the customer inside Amazon and find a way to kind of bring them outside of the Amazon ecosystem. It's your customer. It's not Amazon's customer. They want to keep it. So they're trying to entice you to ship all your inventory there. But again, then you've lost them. You have no idea who they are. It's just a sale. It's a number. It's a click box. That's all. So try and keep that customer to yourself. Okay.
Go through your presentation.
Oh, sorry. I've gone through most of it, Gislain. I know. So, We've gone through this about creating the product and making sure it's marketplace ready. And there's a tool inside Amazon like on Randmar. You can put your product in, you can put the SKU in, and then it gives you the cost recovery fee from Amazon. It tells you your shipping rate. You can enter that. So you put your selling cost, and at the end it tells you your net profit. So make sure that you're selling for the item for as high as you possibly can without going past a certain point. So then you're marketplace ready. Okay. So the 7-step path to launch. So you've got to make sure you choose good products, which we kind of went over. And you check your rules, you list properly, you price with margin. Make sure you're making a profit, and then you fulfill the orders. The orders are fulfilled from Randmar. Make sure you collect your tracking information so you can then input that for your end customers, and then you manage that and you improve the strategy. So I went over this with Vinny already. The reseller model or the brand owner, you guys are the reseller model. So you're selling and you're listing known brands, and you're getting those built on the Amazon marketplace, and you're competing on price, availability, supply, making sure you're making a decent money on that. Okay, so this I went over as well at the beginning, creating your store. You've done this with Shopify already, where you've got your legal business name, your tax details, and all that other information. If you've done that on Shopify, you can take that and just copy and paste into the correct boxes when you're setting up your store on Amazon. And so, how do you select a good product? And Randmar carries a lot of those brands. It makes it easy to select. So you need to, and you asked this question, how do you know what to select? I mean, go take the products that you're looking at, pick 4 or 5 of them, and understand them. See the run rate, the 30-day run rate on that product, and see what the profit margin is. So you can look at Randmar and see what your cost is. We can create opportunities if you need a better pricing, and you know your shipping costs ahead of time. So select your products that way. Make sure you've got a good selection of products. Okay. Here's a good example of going through in the like just a simple example. We'll pick anything that you're selling. Its selling price is $100. So this is the chart that Amazon provides you with. It's your starting point. It is here's your price you're selling for, and then you enter your product cost. Then your referral fee. Referral fee is what Amazon charges you for selling the product. They take a cost recovery fee. That's what they call it. The ads and promotions, that's optional. You don't have to do that, but if you're not doing that, you may not actually get your product out there into to market. And then again, returns and damages. That's an important one. You should cost a few dollars in there. You need to have a good return policy, and you need to have your return policy posted on Amazon and available for customers to read. If it's not there, then you could get into some battles. So for your return policy, do you pay for the shipping, or does the customer pay for the shipping? Do you get Amazon to issue a way bill? Do you issue a way bill? What's the best way to do it? So make sure you know how you want to return your products and whether or not you want to cover it and pay for it on the customer's behalf, or if you want the customer to pay for the return. And at the end of it, you calculate all that in, you'll see your end profit. So I went through the fulfillment choices, FBM or FBA. Try and lean towards the FBM as much as possible to keep the control. If you're trying to scale larger down the road, you can move into fulfilled by Amazon, FBA. Okay, so the launch playbook. Keep it pretty simple, and you do it over a 4-week period, and you start with a few products. Like really start with 3 or 4 products and figure out what they are and scale from that. And when you're listing a product on Amazon, you need to make sure that you know the UPC code. The UPC code is the lead. It's the key for everything. If you put in an item name, there could be 25 variations of it. How do you know which is the real one? and which is the right one, because there's all these sellers sending stuff to Amazon, and it may not be the lead, and that could actually flag you and remove your product. So UPC code is the true identifier, and that's why I say start small with 3 to 10 products, because then you can control the products that you're selling there and making sure you're doing the right listing. If there's variations of that listing, be careful of what one you're jumping onto. Look at how many have sold. So when you're doing the variations, make sure it's the one with the UPC code, and it is the top selling one. If it's like a low selling one, that could be a flag.
Why not list on the 2 different options? If you're going to scale on the best ones, you're going to have some sales, maybe put advertising money. Why not still list on the second one?
Well, if you do that, say the manufacturer is authorized to sell on Amazon or list on Amazon, and they see that you've gone outside there, it's called an ASIN, ASIN. You've gone outside of that. That's a black mark. So they'll go and flag that, and anybody who's on that listing, they want it. The manufacturer wants it gone. So they will flag you, and you'll get a strike against your account. And it takes 180 days to get rid of that strike. And if you get too many, your metrics go into the negative, and you could become a non-trusted seller. I mean, you're trying to create brand awareness, and you're trying to become a trusted seller. And it's try and keep it as clean as possible. Okay, advertising and reviews. Don't buy them. Do it organically. Make a sale. Reach out to a customer and give them a thank you, and make it as simple as that. Give them their tracking. Say, here's your tracking information. Especially at the beginning, we don't have a lot of sales. Thank every single customer, and you want them to reply. And do this through the message portal on Amazon. If they reply back to you, then say to them, is there any chance you could give me a positive review? That's how you build a strong brand and a strong store and become a trusted partner. It's absolutely crucial to building yourself organically. And if you're ever wondering about who gets the sale on Amazon, if there's 25 people all the same price, it's the one who's the most trusted out there. And it's not necessarily the one who has FBA or FBM. It's the person who has good, solid reviews. And that's answer honestly, and just be a good seller.
What's the difference between MPA, MPM, and stuff?
Okay, so fulfilled by merchant, that's you shipping it. So you sell the product to the customer. Randmar then drop ships right to the customer. You collect the money. You pay Randmar. That's you. You're controlling the whole thing. FBA. You personally are buying it from, or your business is buying it from Randmar. It ships to your house. You take it, you tag it with a Amazon identification code, and you ship it to the Amazon warehouse. They take care of it. They fulfill it, and you have no connection with the customer. You can't even ask them for a review because you have no idea who they are. So what's better? If you're trying to become massive, you can do it that way. If you're trying to build yourself a brand in the store and some type of identity, sell anything without being approved on the brand, so you don't get a strike against your name. So when you're listing the UPC, make sure that it doesn't require brand approval, or if it does, that you provide the proper invoices from Randmar. So you may have to buy 10 of something and own the stock yourself to become approved on it. But then you can just fulfill from your own home and ship it out that way. Go to Canada Post and get the tracking number. It's going to have tracking. And again, calculate your margin conservatively. Go through the Amazon calculator in the back end when you're listing the product and it's approved. It shows you, what's your selling price, cost recovery fee, shipping, returns, and if you're doing any advertising, and it tells you your end result, your end money. And keep your inventory and service tight. And what I mean by service is it's crucial to report your tracking identification. If you don't, it's a strike against you, and Amazon won't pay you if you haven't shown that you've shipped it. And they are linked with Canada Post, Canpar, Puro, FedEx, UPS, and those tracking numbers have to be real. If they're not real, the metrics don't work. And again, you can just get booted as a seller. So you saw the avoids there. Like, don't try and list the product without approval. Don't try and list the wrong products. Make sure you stay with the proper UPC code. Make sure you're calculating your cost recovery fees, your ads, your returns. Don't ignore your health warnings ever. If there's a health warning against you because you forgot your tracking number, answer it answer it right away. Otherwise, Amazon will be like, well, this guy's not answering the questions. We're going to boot you as a seller or give you a warning. And if you've developed your strategy on Shopify, you kind of know what you're selling. You know your action plan. And that's where you need to develop your strategy, your own strategy on Shopify. Know what you're selling, know who you are. And I can give you this presentation at the end because I've got all the sources where I pull all this information from too. You guys need to attend if you are interested in going to Amazon. Attend Seller University on Amazon. It's once you create a Seller Central account, there's all these resources that will help you along the way. And yeah, that's it. Any other questions?
So you've mentioned returns pretty frequently.
Yes.
So my question is, if a seller decides that he doesn't, or they, do not want to accept the returns, does that hinder their reputation with Amazon?
It's not going to, no, it won't, but it could determine whether or not the customer is going to buy from you or not. So you need to make sure that policy is in place. Like a very standard policy is Amazon's policy is return within 30 days. So you have to abide by that. You can't go outside of that. You have the right and the option to charge a 20% restocking fee. That's very standard in the industry. You're not in the business to lose money. Charge it and post it. Waybills. Why would you pay for a customer's return? It's not a try and buy and return. It is if you want it, research it, buy it. If it doesn't work and it's the fault of you or something wasn't posted properly, then you're going to have to pay for the return. But for the most part, it's up to the seller to go and go into there's a returns portal. They go into the portal, they click return. They know they're paying they know what your fees are. They know they're paying a 20% restocking fee, and then they click print waybill, and that waybill is charged to the customer returning the product. So you're not on the hook for any extra fees, and you get to resell the product again, and you've made 20 points on it. You may have to sell it for less because it's open box, but that's okay. You've made 20 points in the meantime.
And we can still do that with our own personal store off of Amazon's ecosystem as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing and just apply it to other transactions.
Sure.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
By the way, Randmar, we also have a similar structure for your Shopify store as well.
Okay.
So we do have a return. You're able to generate shipping labels as well. But we don't pay for it if you're busy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
Sorry, it was just a question on terms of the tracking number. I know for Amazon, you have to upload the tracking number, but for Randmar, do you do that?
Yeah, I just want so Danielle presented some sales channels. So there is an app to automatically sync your Shopify store with Amazon. And that applies to Walmart, to eBay, to all the other ones as well. There is an app. So it's a third-party app. It's not an official app from Amazon, but it will automatically sync the tracking numbers and the information. Then Randmar, whenever, like for any of your orders, like Larry, for example, for your first sale, the order was automatically assigned to Randmar. Randmar, we shipped the product. When the tracking number was available, we fulfill it in your Shopify. So the tracking number was already there. And once it's there, the third-party app will automatically sync it to Amazon, right? So with Shopify and a third-party app, there is nothing manual to do.
Yeah.
I can even add that it was super fast. It was just a couple of minutes, so I was impressed by it.
And what is the third-party app? Which one?
It's a search for Seed Commerce, CED space commerce. That's the one that we use. It's the one that I recommend. I don't use it, but it's the one I recommend because they also do Walmart, eBay, and a bunch of different ones.
Yeah, you'll have to set your shipping times, and Randmar is set up for next day, so you can set your store up for next day. And if you've got that connect, the tracking number is automatic and it uploads, so then it's one less thing to worry about. Because if you forget that, the next day you go to your store and you look at your sales and it shows late shipping. So if you've connected it,
And also the app will sync the inventory. Because on Amazon, you also have to push the inventory, how much you have. Randmar, like the third-party app, since Randmar, we sync it with your Shopify store. You can see at all time how much inventory we have. That third-party app will also sync the inventory to the platform, right? So as I mentioned in my first talk, like integration is really a key component, and Shopify is the master at that. Other questions?